Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. Before we dive into this heartwarming story, hit subscribe so you'll never miss the most courageous dog tales we share every day. Imagine a room where justice is supposed to be served, but the air itself feels thick with unspoken truths. This isn't just any courtroom. This is Atlanta, Georgia, a city known for its resilience. Yet even here, some stories are too painful to be uttered. The sterile air, the hushed whispers, the heavy oak furniture, the American flag standing tall. Every detail amplified the formality and intimidation. All eyes were locked on Nia, a 9-year-old black girl, small and seemingly fragile. She sat behind the witness stand. Her legs dangled, too short to reach the wooden platform beneath her. Her hands clutched a worn, cloth-bound storybook, her only comfort in a world that had suddenly become terrifyingly loud. For 18 months, Nia had not spoken a single word. Not a whisper, not a sigh, not even a hum. Her silence wasn't a choice, it was a fortress built around a pain too immense to articulate, a profound absence of sound from her very being. This wasn't a school recital, nor a bad dream. This was family court, a custody battle, with her parents on opposing sides, the stakes impossibly high for her young life. Beside Nia, a beacon of quiet strength, sat Hunter, a magnificent Labrador, his fur the color of midnight, his eyes deep pools of unwavering loyalty. He wasn't just a pet. He was her shadow, her anchor, her silent guardian in a world that had become too chaotic. His presence brought an immediate, palpable sense of peace, a soft counterpoint to the courtroom's tension. Few truly saw the invisible chains that bound Nia's tongue. They saw a quiet child. They didn't see the terror that had stolen her voice. The unseen burden of trauma hung heavy, a secret only a few truly understood. A profound fear that had literally shut down her ability to communicate verbally. This isn't just a story. It's a reflection of countless children who carry burdens too heavy for their young shoulders. Children, especially from marginalized backgrounds, whose cries for help often go unheard, their silence mistaken for defiance or disinterest. Trauma-induced selective mutism is a profound phenomenon, a primal survival mechanism. Society often misinterprets such silence as rudeness, developmental delay, or simply being shy, rather than a severe symptom of trauma. This common mistake leads to delayed intervention and prolonged suffering, deepening the child's isolation. We often fail to look beyond the surface, missing the silent pleas. Adding to the pressure, Nia's father, Victor Davis, wasn't just any parent. He was a prominent figure in Atlanta, a respected businessman known for his philanthropy and community leadership. His public image was impeccable, a man admired and trusted by many. To accuse Victor was to challenge a pillar of the community, inviting skepticism and even backlash from those who believed in his perfect facade. The judge herself would have to tread carefully. Before the trial, the subtle threats began. Anonymous calls, veiled concern messages, Victor appearing unexpectedly near Nia's school. These actions, just shy of criminal, were enough to reignite Nia's deepest fears, pushing her further into the fortress of silence. He even tried to buy off Nia's mother and Dr. Sharma, offering money, promising a quiet resolution. But they refused. This wasn't about money. It was about Nia's truth. A truth Victor was desperate to bear. Lesson learned that silence can be a scream. Always look deeper than what meets the eye, especially when a child is involved. It happened on a cold winter night when the world outside was cold, but the chill inside Nia's home was far colder. A night when Victor Davis's anger, meant to protect, instead shattered the very foundation of his daughter's trust. Nia had tried to run, tried to hide, but the fear caught her, leaving an indelible mark. In the aftermath, Nia withdrew completely. There were no tears, no screams, just a profound folding into herself, as if disappearing was the only way to stay safe. Her spirit didn't just dim, it fractured. The small, bright part of her seemed to vanish, leaving behind an echoing void. Months of therapy sessions followed. Crayons, dolls, even medications, all futile against the impenetrable wall of fear Nia had built around herself. Therapists tried, parents hoped, but Nia remained trapped behind a wall of silence, her eyes downcast, her lips sealed. It wasn't defiance. It was pure, learned fear. Then came Hunter. He wasn't simply a companion, he was a purpose-bred, meticulously trained Labrador, destined to be a lifeline. His lineage, his temperament, every fiber of his being was geared towards one mission: healing the unseen wounds of human hearts. He was chosen for a trauma recovery program. The first time they met, Nia sat cross-legged on the therapist's office floor, barely blinking. Hunter lay quietly across the room, observing her with those deep, intelligent eyes. He didn't bark. He didn't demand attention. He simply was. And in that quiet presence, something shifted within Nia. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible crack in her fortress. The journey of trust was slow, painstaking. It took weeks for Nia to just place a hand on his back, months before she made her first tentative sign. Hunter's unwavering patience, his gentle presence, mirrored her pace perfectly. He never rushed, never barked impatiently. He simply laid nearby, breathing steadily, matching her rhythm. This wasn't just training, it was the forging of an unbreakable bond, a unique language understood by only two souls, a silent girl and her loyal Labrador. A soft touch, a specific movement, a nod followed by a signal. This was their secret, their bridge to a world Nia no longer believed in. Hunter understood that healing wasn't a race, it was a slow, deliberate dance, a delicate rebuilding of shattered trust. His calm was her anchor. For many, pets are companions. For some, like Nia, a service animal becomes an extension of their very being, a non-judgmental confidant who sees past the trauma to the light within. Stories abound of service animals aiding individuals with PTSD, autism, and other profound traumas, proving the power of this unique bond. Hunter's consistent, patient presence was the cause, leading to Nia's gradual opening up and the development of their unique communication method. It was a testament to the power of unwavering support in the face of deep-seated fear. The renewed fear from Victor's subtle threats only solidified Hunter's crucial role, making his presence even more indispensable. People often underestimate the power of animal-assisted therapy, or expect instant results. This is a common mistake. Trust and healing take time, immense dedication, and an understanding that progress is often measured in tiny, almost imperceptible shifts, not grand leaps. Lesson learned that love, patience, and unwavering presence can build bridges where words fail. Back in the courtroom, Judge Eleanor Vance was known for her steel-trap mind and her unwavering adherence to the letter of the law. She didn't entertain theatrics or sentiment. Yet as she looked at Nia, something flickered in her gaze. Not protocol, but quiet, human observation. The tension in the courtroom was palpable, a thick silence that stretched, heavy and suffocating. Nia was asked a question and the room held its breath, waiting for a sound that might never come. Every eye was fixed on the small figure, hoping for a miracle. Just as Nia seemed about to respond, Victor's lawyer, a sharp-suited man with an air of practiced arrogance, stood abruptly. "Your Honor," he announced, his voice dripping with feigned concern, "we move to have the animal removed. It's a distraction, a prop, perhaps even a tool designed to manipulate the court's emotions. It has no place in a serious legal proceeding." A collective gasp rippled through the room. Judge Vance's gaze sharpened. She was initially skeptical, her expression unreadable. "Dr. Sharma," she stated, her voice firm, "I understand your therapeutic methods, but this is a court of law. We require concrete evidence, not emotional theatrics involving animals." The weight of her words hung heavy. Dr. Sharma stood her ground, calmly explaining Hunter's role as a certified service animal, essential for Nia's ability to even be present and function under such immense pressure. The judge, after a tense pause, her eyes flicking between Nia and Hunter, denied the motion. But her skepticism remained palpable. The air crackled with anticipation, a silent challenge laid bare. Then, the pivotal moment. Nia's right hand began to rise, slowly, carefully. She drew a small, deliberate circle in the air with her pinky finger. It was barely visible, soft, like a whisper, a movement only one being in that room would recognize. And that one being was Hunter. Hunter's reaction was immediate, precise. His ears lifted, he stood in a single fluid motion, not rushed, not uncertain. He walked, no, he strode through the small gate beside the witness stand, approached Nia, and then, a single clear bark. It wasn't random. It was a testament. A single sharp sound that cut through the silence like a lightning strike, carrying the weight of 18 months of unspoken agony. A ripple passed through the room. Confusion, whispers. The court clerk blinking rapidly, Nia's mother covering her mouth with both hands. Judge Vance's expression remained unreadable, but her eyes searched Nia's face, trying to decode the silent message. From the back of the courtroom, Dr. Anya Sharma stood, trembling slightly, yet resolute. "That's a communication sequence we developed," she said, her voice carrying through the stunned silence. "Nia and Hunter practiced it for months. It's how she tells the truth when she's too afraid to speak out loud." The first layer of the mystery began to unravel. The judge didn't speak right away. Dr. Sharma stepped forward, holding a small, cream-colored envelope. "She gave me this yesterday," she said gently. "She told me only give this to the judge if Hunter barks." This was the second, more impactful revelation. A twist no one anticipated, deepening the courtroom's stunned silence. Judge Vance reached for the envelope, her fingers steady but her eyes uncertain. She opened it slowly, peeling back the flap as though it contained something sacred, and in a way, it did. Inside was a drawing done in crayon, precise in its pain, yet undeniably powerful. It showed a small girl, unmistakably Nia, crouched in the corner of a room, her arms wrapped tightly over her head. Looming over her was a man, tall, red-faced, twisted in anger, his hands clenched into fists, and in the corner of the picture stood Hunter, positioned defensively between the man and the girl, mouth open, mid-bark, eyes sharp and watchful. The raw truth was laid bare. The courtroom was still, but something invisible shifted. Judge Vance stared at the drawing longer than anyone expected. Her lips pressed into a thin line, her throat moved as she swallowed hard, fighting the sting behind her eyes. It was a child's truth, raw and unfiltered. Then, Dr. Sharma leaned forward, her voice a hushed but clear whisper. "Your Honor," she said, pointing to a small, almost invisible detail on the drawing, a tiny faded teddy bear peeking from under a bed. "That's Mr. Snuggles. Nia keeps him hidden under her bed. Only she and Hunter knew he was there." It was the irrefutable detail, the silent, undeniable witness that shattered all doubt. On the back, written in uneven block letters with a blue marker, were 9 simple words that chilled the room to its core. "He says he cares, but I only feel safe when he's not there." This was the third most devastating revelation, confirming the abuse unequivocally, hitting harder than any legal report, any sworn testimony. In a system often reliant on verbal testimony, how do we give a voice to the voiceless? Nia's drawing wasn't just art, it was irrefutable evidence, a silent scream made visible. It highlighted the challenges of proving abuse in court when the victim cannot speak, and the extraordinary lengths some go to hide their truth. The signal and bark cause led to the drawing's revelation. Effect, which in turn led to the judge's profound understanding and Victor Davis's furious outburst. It was a chain reaction of truth, ignited by a child's courage and a dog's loyalty. Victor Davis's immediate reaction to discredit Hunter and Nia was a common tactic by abusers to gaslight and manipulate. It's a desperate attempt to control the narrative when faced with undeniable truth, a final, futile attempt to cling to power. Lesson learned, that truth finds a way, even through the deepest silence. Listen not just with your ears, but with your heart. Victor Davis stood abruptly, knocking his chair back with a loud thud that echoed in the stunned silence. "This is absurd. That dog's trained. She could have—" His furious accusations of manipulation and coaching filled the air, his face contorted with rage, a desperate attempt to reclaim control of the narrative. Judge Vance didn't even blink. Her voice, no longer soft, cracked through the silence like a lightning strike, sharp and unyielding. "Sit down, Mr. Davis. This court does not take well to intimidation. You may sit, or you may be escorted out." The bailiff took a single, deliberate step forward, his presence a silent, undeniable threat that solidified her command. Throughout the outburst, Hunter remained perfectly still, his gaze locked forward, unperturbed by the chaos. His body leaned ever so slightly into Nia's leg, a silent reassurance. "I'm here." His steadfastness was an unwavering anchor amidst the storm, a testament to his training and his bond. Then, the unbelievable moment. After 18 months of silence, Nia moved. Her shoulders, once hunched inward, subtly shifted, as if a great weight had been lifted. And then the softest voice the room had ever heard, a whisper that carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. "Hunter knows who keeps me safe," she said. "He remembers everything, even when I couldn't." The words didn't echo, they settled into every corner of the room, heavy with truth, resonating deep within each listener. The court reporter stopped typing, fingers hovering over the keyboard. For a long, suspended moment, the room remained caught between breath and disbelief. It wasn't loud, but it struck like thunder. After 18 months, Naya's voice existed, a quiet seismic miracle. Judge Vance didn't hide her reaction. She blinked several times, as if making sure she had truly heard. Her sternness, though still present, was now softened by reverence. She leaned forward, elbows resting on the bench, fingers clasped. "Naya," she said gently, her voice filled with profound respect. "Thank you." Those two words hung in the air like a blessing, a profound acknowledgement of Naya's immense courage. Hunter still sat at Nia's side, unmoving, but his ears twitched at the sound of her voice. He leaned a little closer, brushing her arm with the side of his body. It was a small gesture, but it grounded her, a silent affirmation of their unbreakable bond, a quiet celebration of her reclaimed voice. Nia's eyes didn't stray to her father, not once. She didn't flinch when she heard his breath catch, or when his hands curled into fists against the table. Her gaze remained forward, her focus unwavering. She had said what she needed to say, and her truth stood tall. Judge Vance turned her attention to Naya's mother, whose tears now fell freely, a torrent of relief and sorrow. Her lawyer rested a reassuring hand on her back, but the woman hardly noticed. Her entire being was fixed on her daughter, with awe, with sorrow, with pride, and with heartbreak. Because in her daughter's voice she could hear the weight of every sleepless night, every bruise left unseen, every scream that had gone silent. It was the sound of pain that no mother ever wants to hear spoken. Not in volume, but in truth, finally brought to light. Judge Vance's steady voice cut through the emotion, clear and resolute. "Ma'am, I am granting you full custody of your child." The courtroom didn't erupt. There was no applause, just a quiet, collective release, like the building had been holding its breath with everyone else, and finally exhaled. Victor Davis opened his mouth again, a fresh protest forming, but this time the bailiff stepped forward and shook his head. Nothing needed to be said. The judge's gavel remained untouched. She looked directly at Nia, and for a rare moment in her long career, her voice wavered. "You've said more with a single signal than most adults say in 1,000 words, she whispered. She wasn't speaking as a judge, then, but as a human being, one who had just seen something that pierced through every layer of legal training, protocol, and restraint. Judge Vance lowered her hand, and instead of bringing the gavel down with force, she set it on the bench softly, not in judgment, but in awe. Then, without another word, she stood and left the bench. The room stayed silent. There was nothing more to say. Regaining one's voice after trauma isn't just about speaking, it's about reclaiming agency, identity, and power. For many who have been silenced, finding their voice is about reclaiming their very essence, their right to exist and be heard. This is restorative justice in its purest form. Nia's courage, cause, led to her speaking effect, which led to justice being served, effect. It was a powerful chain of events set in motion by a child's truth and a dog's unwavering loyalty. A testament to the strength found in vulnerability. A common mistake is the tendency to rush the healing process or expect victims to just get over it. Nia's journey reminds us that it's a long, arduous path, requiring immense patience and understanding, a continuous act of rebuilding. So, your voice, no matter how soft, holds the power to reshape your world. Never underestimate the strength of truth. 6 months later, a different kind of silence filled the air. The sun was warm on a park bench that afternoon, leaves fluttering lazily in the breeze, casting moving shadows on the notebook that lay open across Naya's lap. This silence was filled with peace, not fear, a gentle hum of contentment. Her small fingers held a colored pencil, carefully sketching a scene. Trees, birds, and a dog that looked very familiar. Nia wasn't broken now, she was healing. Slowly, steadily, like a delicate flower unfurling after a long winter, embracing the warmth of a new spring. Hunter lay curled beside her, his eyes half closed, but his ears alert as ever. He didn't need to watch her constantly anymore. She was safe. His presence was a constant, unwavering anchor, a quiet promise that he would always be there. A silent guardian of her newfound peace. Nia still didn't speak much, but she didn't need to. She laughed, she drew, she made eye contact. She had begun to sleep through the nightmares fading into distant echoes. Her therapist said it was progress. Her mother said it was a miracle. The journey of healing was unfolding beautifully, day by day. A little boy wandered over from the playground, his hands sticky with ice cream. He stopped a few feet away and pointed at Hunter. "Can I pet your dog?" he asked, his voice filled with innocent curiosity, breaking the peaceful quiet. Nia looked up, the corners of her lips lifting in a soft smile. She didn't answer right away. For a split second her fingers twitched with hesitation, a trace of the girl who once disappeared inside silence. The old fear, a fleeting shadow, tried to resurface. But then, she set her pencil down, closed her notebook and gently tapped her chest. It was a familiar signal, a silent affirmation of her trust, a gesture of confidence. Hunter gave a single, friendly bark and wagged his tail, his eyes bright with understanding and joy. The boy laughed, a joyful, uninhibited sound, and then, so did Nia. A real laugh, the kind that caught in her chest and spilled out like sunshine. Not just sound, but life. The kind of laugh that told the world she was still here, that the bridge was working, that healing had begun, truly and deeply. This final, heartwarming moment was the full restoration of her joy, a symphony of courage and hope. Hunter, the silent guardian, remained her constant. His job wasn't over, it had simply evolved from protection to companionship, from bridge to foundation, a steadfast presence in her new life. Hunter isn't just a dog, he's a symbol of unconditional love, loyalty, and the profound impact animals can have on human healing. His bravery wasn't in fighting, but in patiently waiting, connecting, and enabling truth to emerge. He is a testament to the power of a loyal heart, a true hero. For anyone who has felt silenced, betrayed, or burdened by unseen wounds, Nia and Hunter's story is a testament to the power of resilience. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to healing, a voice waiting to be found, and often, an unexpected ally ready to walk that path with us. This story highlights that strength often comes from unexpected places, and that even when systems fail, individual courage and the right support can make all the difference. It emphasizes the importance of community, of listening to those who can't speak, and of providing safe spaces for healing. The journey to healing isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, but with a loyal heart like Hunter's by your side, every step forward is a victory. This long-term process of trauma recovery requires ongoing support and understanding, a continuous nurturing of the spirit. Even after the verdict, Victor Davis didn't disappear. He filed an appeal, and subtle threats continued to surface through various channels, attempts to discredit Nia's mother and undermine their peace. This showed that the fight for healing was an ongoing journey, not a single courtroom battle, and that true peace is often hard-won. But Nia and Hunter were stronger now. They faced these challenges together, their bond an unbreakable shield against any lingering malice. The peace they found was hard-won, a testament to their enduring resilience, a beacon of hope for anyone still fighting. Lesson learned that healing is a symphony of small victories, played out with courage, patience, and the unwavering melody of unconditional love. If Nia and Hunter's story touched your heart, imagine the countless other untold tales of resilience and courage that exist all around us. Don't let these powerful messages fade into silence. Hit that like button if this video resonated with you, and share it with someone who needs to hear a message of hope today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss another story that will inspire, empower, and remind you of the incredible strength of the human spirit. Your support helps us bring more of these vital narratives to light. Thank you for listening.